Question 10, if we divide the polynomial x to the fourth plus 4x to the third plus 2x squared plus x plus 4 by x squared plus 3x, what will the remainder be? So I first notice we are dividing by a quadratic. We cannot do synthetic division because this is not a linear term. And what gives it away is because we have an exponent of 2. So we're going to do long division. So we are going to set up our algorithmic process. We're going to put in x to the fourth plus 4x to the third plus 2x squared plus x plus 4. We're dividing it by x squared plus 3x. And then I'm going to tack on a plus 0. It's not really absolutely necessary, but it acts as a placeholder because it's missing a constant term. Notice what we're dividing by has a constant term of 4, and our divisor did not. So I'm putting it in as a placeholder. So now let's go through the process. Let me switch colors here. We're first going to take this first term x to the fourth and divide it by this first term x squared. So recall x to the fourth divided by x squared. When you divide variables, you just subtract the exponents. So this ends up giving you x squared. Let me erase all that so the circles don't get confusing. But x squared is the result, so it goes here. Then we're going to take that x squared and we're going to multiply it by all three terms right here. So x squared first times x squared is x to the fourth. X squared times 3x is 3x cubed. Notice how it goes underneath its like term. And then x squared times 0 is just 0x squared. And then all those terms in purple get subtracted from their like term above. So x to the fourth minus x to the fourth. These just cross each other out. 4 minus 3 gives us 1 x cubed. Leaving the 1 there is optional. I'm going to go and take it away. And then 2x squared minus 0x squared is just positive 2x squared. Now we're going to take this first term, x to the third, and divide it by this first term, x squared. So x to the third divided by x squared. Again, recall when you divide, you just subtract the exponents. So 3 minus 2 is just x. So that's going to go up here. And then we're going to take this x and we're going to multiply it by x squared. X times x squared is x to the third. Just an algorithmic process. We're just repeating ourselves. X times 3x is 3x squared. And then finally we're going to take x and we're going to multiply it by this 0 right here. And that just gives us, of course, 0x. Believe it or not, we're almost done. And then finally we're going to take this term x to the third and divide it by this term here, x squared. Nope, before that, we forgot to subtract. We need to take these terms and subtract them from the terms above it. So x to the third minus x to the third, these just cross each other out. 2x squared minus 3x squared is just negative 1x squared. And then finally, we've got a 1x up here minus 0x. So here's my 1x right here. And I'm subtracting it from the 0x here. So 1x minus 0x is just 1x. And then we're going to divide this first term here divided by this first term here. So negative 1x squared, or we can just call it negative x squared divided by x squared. Well, these are the same thing except one has a negative sign. So the x squareds cancel and we're left with just negative 1 And then we're going to take that negative 1 and we're going to multiply it by all three of these terms. So negative 1 times x squared is negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x. And negative 1 times 0 is just 0. It goes underneath, doesn't seem like it, but it goes underneath this 4 up here at the top. And then finally, we'll get our answer here. Let's switch colors. Negative 1x squared, that's a terrible color to pick. Let's pick red. Negative 1x squared minus negative 1x squared. Negative 1 minus negative 1, those cancel. Positive 1x minus a negative 3x turns into a 4x because 1 minus a negative is really 1 plus 3. And then finally, 4 minus the 0 down here is just positive 4, and we get 4x plus 4, which luckily is an answer choice.